Hello, we are going to do lesson 119 today. So number 1 says draw a quadrilateral, and a quadrilateral is any shape with 4 sides, a closed shape with 4 straight sides, with 3 acute angles. Acute are these ones that are sharper than 90 degrees, and 1 obtuse angle. Those are the ones that are wider than 90 degrees. So to draw this shape, I think we need to do a very obtuse angle on the bottom. And then we can do this. It kind of looks like a kite. So now we've got our 1 obtuse down there, and then our 3 acutes here. All right, number 2. Is 101 a multiple of 3? Multiple of 3 means 3 times something equals 101. And the way to know if 3 times anything equals 101 is to divide 3 into 101 and see if it comes out with or without a remainder. So way over here on the side, we'll divide 3 into 101. So I'm thinking 30 would be a good number to start with. That's 90, and I've got 11 left, right? 1 minus 0 is 0, 10 minus 9 is 1. So 3 more 3s, and I end up with 2 left over. So I'm ending up with 33, remainder 2, which tells me 3 is not a remainder, or sorry, 3 is not a multiple of 101 because we can't get exactly to 101. So we are going to say no. Number 3, Mr. McGregor had 2 grain silos. Grain silos are those big towers you see sometimes that they fill them up with grain. And he's got one that is 37 feet tall. We'll say this one's 37 feet. That's the green silo. And the red silo is 52 feet. So over here we'll draw our 52-foot silo. And then the question here is, how many inches taller is the red silo than the green silo? So unfortunately, these are feet. But I think our first step here is to figure out how many feet taller it is. So 52 for the red silo minus 37 for the green silo. We get 15 feet taller. 15 feet taller. But we want to know inches. So we have to recall that there are 12 inches in every foot. So if there are 12 inches per foot and there are 15 feet, we need to do 12 times 15, right? Let's see. We'll do 12 and 15. Multiply this out. There's 100. There's 20. There's 50. There's 10. So 120 for that row, and 60 for this row. Looks like 180. So 180 inches for the 15 feet. Moving on to number 4, order the fractions from least to greatest. So we need to find the least and end with the greatest. So I've got 5/6, 3/5, a half, 2/3, and a 1/10. Now, I remember looking at those fraction strips earlier in the year, and tenths are pretty small, and I only have 1, so I know 1/10 is pretty close to 0. And 5/6, 6/6 is 1, so we've got almost all that we need to make it to 1. So 5/6 is pretty close to 1. So I'm thinking right now 1/10 is the least and 5/6 is the greatest. I know half is the middle, but let's look at 3/5 and 2/3. 3/5, 3 is more than halfway to 5, right? And 2 is more than halfway to 3. So I think these are both more than a half, but which is more, 3/5 or 2/3? So right now I'm thinking 1/10 is the least, and 5/6 is the greatest. And I think the other two are more than a half, so I think a half goes here. But we need to compare 3/5 and 2/3. So one way to compare these, actually the best way to be absolutely sure is to give them the same denominator. Because once we have the same size pieces, we can just see which is more. So 3/5 and 2/3, I need to make equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. And a trick for doing the same denominator is to just multiply the denominator from the other fraction. So this 5, we're going to use the 3 from down here and this 5 here we're going to use down here. Because 3 times 5, or 5 times 3, that gives me 15ths both ways. Of course, we always have to do the same thing to the numerator. So this needs to stay a 5, and this needs to stay a 3. So we've got 9/15 and 10/15. Now that we have same denominators of 15ths, we can see that 9 is just a little bit less than 10. And what happened there? Here's one of those fraction strips. Here's our 3/5 and our 2/3. And when we multiplied the 2/3 by 5/5, we made these into 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 15ths. And we multiplied this one by 3, so that's why these all broke into 3 pieces. So you can see the 9/15 and the 3/15. And we said that they were both more than a half, which is right here. So now we know that 9/15 is next, and then 10/15. Number 5, determine if each equation is true or false. And my equations are up here on the top. So 51/100 and 49/10. And they want to know if that is equal to 1. So 51 and 49 do equal 100, and 100 over 100 is 1, but wait a minute. This is only a tenth, and we would have to make it be 100ths for us to actually add them. So if we times both of these by 10, right, we'd have this. 490 hundredths. And whether we add the 51 or not, there's way more than one group of 100 in 490. So this is way more than 1. So this one is false. Next we have 1/10 plus 31/100 is 32/100. Again, they're trying to trick us because 31 plus 1 is 32, but I cannot add the tenths to the hundredths. We could times these both by 10 and get 10/100, but then 10/100 plus 31/100 is 41/100, not 32. So this one is also false. This one, at least they're both hundreds, 56/100 and 84/100, but then our answer is tenths, and we might be tempted to say false. But we should go ahead and add these up and see what we get. So 56 and 84/100. 6 and 4 is 10. 8, 9, that's 14. So this is 140. So 140/100, is that the same as 14/10? Well, yes it is, because if we multiply 140 by 10 and 10 by 10, we'd have 140 over 100, which is what we had when we added it up. So this one is actually true. So all three of these were just being tricky and trying to confuse you. And there we go. We have finished lesson 119.